We have a voicemail number. That number is 2192-DAVID-P. Here's a really important voicemail I received that I want to address. Take a listen to this.
Hey, David, I really love the show. I've been watching for years now, and I haven't heard you talk about what your perspective is on young people joining the military yet. And for me, as a 17-year-old, I'm being influenced by many different perspectives, and I'm planning on joining the Marines after my senior year in high school.
Right.
And I would like to have your voice on what the risks are for me, or your basic opinion on the whole matter. And thank you for listening.
Okay.
Bye.
So listen. Number one, the risks to joining the Marines are being killed in armed conflict, right? That's sort of the obvious and number one risk when you're joining the military. Of course, most people who join the military aren't killed in armed conflict. That's the reality. I am not someone who says no one should join the military, because the U.S. is going to have a military. Yeah. And the reason we don't have a draft and people who really aren't suited for the military don't have to go, because we have a volunteer military that, although it does have some recruiting issues, and it's sort of always been an issue, at least for a couple of decades, except for maybe the short period after 9/11, we have a volunteer military, and thus we don't have a draft. So I'm not just like no one should ever join the military. There are situations where it's probably a logical or sane decision to join the military. Now, the things I would tell you are a few. Number one, you could end up, even if you don't end up dead or maimed, you could end up having to fight a conflict that you don't agree with politically. So if that's a concern, if that would be damaging to your essence as a human being, that's something that you should think about hard and fast, or seriously. But there's sort of a bigger thing with joining the military. I know a lot of people who have been in the military who joined right after high school, during high school, years after high school. Not for everybody, but very often, they're joining the military to fill a need or scratch an itch that other endeavors could help them with. So, for example, if you want to join the military to see the world and you don't want to pay to travel around, consider joining the Peace Corps or doing Teach for America. There are other ways to see the world, not on your own dime. And if that's what's attracting you to the military, then consider that. If you're looking to work for your country, if you want to do something for your country, there are all sorts of other ways that you can do that, from the local to the federal level, everything from foreign service, diplomacy. If you're saying, I'm not suited for that, law enforcement at the local or state level, other sorts of volunteer organizations. There's so many other ways that you can feel like you're doing something for your country. If you want to be around guns, well, I would explore why it is that you're so desperate to be around guns that you're willing to join the military to do it, given that there are so many other ways to be around guns. I could go on with other examples, but for many people, I find that the reason they're joining the military is actually something that could be met in other ways. And it's really important to think about, what are you actually trying to achieve? If it's a sense of infrastructure and discipline, there's other ways to achieve that as well in many jobs, and working in law enforcement, or working within, even working within like an airline. If you want to become a pilot, like the discipline and infrastructure thing exists in other ways. So I would just think hard and fast about what's actually attracting you to it, and whether this is really the best path towards that attractor, or if there are others. We've got a great bonus show today. I'm out of time, but trust me, it's a really good one. It includes George Costanza actor Jason Alexander becoming the new Colonel Sanders, and much more. Become a member at www.joinpakman.com, and you'll get instant access to the bonus show.